The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency.
Win the incredible Steigercraft, Evinrude, Lowrance Grand Prize Boat Package, and more in the Fisherman's 2018 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Get the details at thefisherman.com. The fish are definitely cooperating. It's the weather that's making it tough to take advantage of some of the excellent fishing underway around the island. This coming weekend looks like it'll be the same story. Let's check in with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olin.
Hey fellow anglers, meteorologist Rich Von Olin here at the News 12 Long Island Weather Center, giving you an update on what's coming up for the upcoming weekend. Trying to get out there, try to enjoy some of the bass and blackfishing going on this weekend, but it's going to be a little tough this weekend, and here's why. This is our forecast model here from our computer. It's pretty cool. So Friday night, we get this next storm on the coast. Forget about it. Going to have winds really cranking and some nasty wind with another coastal here. We just can't get a break. As we go into Saturday, more of a westerly breeze, and that wind's going to gust anywhere between 20 and 30 miles per hour. So not the best fishing day. Maybe just hang out for a bit. Sunday, the winds go northwest, and maybe 10 to 20 knots. It's going to subside in the afternoon, a little bit better. If anything, a nice little window there for Monday. See that there? The winds drop out until the next storm comes in for Tuesday. So bottom line is we've got a stormy pattern here, and some of those storms will be nasty. Some little windows for fishing. Hopefully you can get them in. Hope to see you out there and enjoy the weekend. Sunday will be the best pick of the weekend. I'm meteorologist Rich Von Olin. Good luck.
Remember, check in with News 12 Long Island weather before heading out. The November issue of the Fisherman magazine is out now. There's a great article on the late fall surf prospects by Fred Golofaro. And now that we're getting ready for the holiday season, Paul Stowe has an informative article on jigging for squid, aka calamari. This is just a few of the great reads in the November issue of the Fisherman magazine. Now let's get to the reports. On the East End, some really good blackfishing, primarily around Fisher's Island, where North Fork and Montauk boats are doing most of their fishing. Plenty of tog, including quite a few in the 5 to 7 pound range, along with some nice sea bass, are keeping rods bent whenever conditions allow. If you're looking for jumbo sea bass, Block Island has been turning out quantity and quality when the winds allow boats to make the run. Mixed with the sea bass are some nice porgies and cod. Striped bass action has been limited to primarily small fish, so most boats are bottom fishing when they can get out. Let's check in with Mike Dean from Shinnecock.
Thanks, Tim. Well, sand eels are still around, so the usual suspects, A17s, A27s, the tsunami sand eel is still working. Night bite is a little bit more consistent. For those guys that got out in the boats, stripers in deep water, 80, 90 feet. Diamond jigging with just phenomenal, nonstop big bass. Some big blues mixed in as well. Tog bite continues to be pretty good. The wrecks, any kind of structure, Asian green crabs are working there. Hopefully these sand eels will stick around and we'll have a bite. It continues, deep in, making this a really deep, full run. Good luck this weekend, everyone. Catch them up.
On the South Shore, let's check in with Brendan Ritigliano from Captree Bait, Fuel, and Tackle.
Thanks, Tim. There's some blackfish around the local wrecks. Green crabs are the way to go. If not, use clam because the green crabs are starting to get hard to find. Bass is what most people are going for. There's a lot of schoolies around. On the beach, it's mostly dawn. Use A27s to A47s depending on the weather. Green, white, and yellow tubes are great. Big bass in 30 to 60 feet of water. We actually have right here, there was a 44 pounder caught on the Captree Pride by Angela. This weekend we had, on Sunday, we had the Dylan Steigerwald Memorial Striped Bass Tournament. We had 18 boats go in. We were the official weigh station for the tournament. This is the first time we've done it, and we plan on doing it annually for the next few years. The winner was a 38 pounder by Blue Haven right here. That was the winner. And the tournament actually gave around $2,000 out in prizes. This week until Sunday, which is actually my wedding, we're going to do a deal. You get 11% off in, excuse me, 11% off your $100 bill. So anything over $100, you get 11% off, which is $11.
Also this past week on Election Day was the Riverview Tournament. This year's competition was a little lighter than normal with 167 anglers fishing out of 44 boats. The ominous weather forecast kept many anglers at home. For one happy crew, their persistence paid off with this 45.2-pound cow.
Well, we were at Tow Bay And they started off small. You know, we just kept at it, and every fish was bigger and bigger. And this was the last fish at the end. We were using green and white Mojos, double Mojos, and a white and yellow spoon. And we were catching them on both. We knew it was a big one when it ripped off. It just started peeling and it was taking drag, and I kept tightening the drag a little, and it kept taking it, and finally I didn't want to tighten it anymore, so it took us about a half an hour.
The winning fish was worth $1,670.
To the west, let's check in with Joey Leggio.
Thank you, Tim. The report out at Debs Inlet, it's pretty good. There's tons and tons of bass right now. The action's there, the fish are there. It's just this wind is here as well. So when you get a break in the weather, you can get out there and you'll definitely catch a fish. My past trips on Friday, I had people come in from Wisconsin, took them out to the back bay. They managed to catch 10 stripers. Again, schoolies, nothing big, but that's definitely starting to wind down a little, I guess, as the water temps are dropping. But we did manage a 10, they had a great time, and that was that. On Sunday, we took Dave out into the ocean. We went trolling, we used the Mojos and spoons, both were producing, and we were also using the braid versus the wire now. It's a new thing we've been trying out, and it's been pretty productive. Actually, we have a video out now, you can check it out. Tim, maybe you could post a link. A new video on showing you how to troll with the braid and how we do it with the spoons and the lead and the whole thing. Check out that video on chasingtailtv.com, and hopefully, Tim, you can share that link. Then we went out again by myself, actually, on a weather break. I went out yesterday for about an hour and a half after the rain and everything, and that small little window where there's like no wind, and I was able to get one fish, ran out real quick, shot out, trolled up a 28 pound, and came right back in before it got dark. The issue we have right now is this wind, man. It just won't stop. So every day I'm looking at my phone, checking that wind, and anytime I see a break, you know, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm shooting out there trying to get these fish because I know they're pretty stacked. And that's really it. This wind is our enemy right now, but if you get out, you're going to catch the bass. Really didn't do much fishing on the bridges this week or anything, so I really haven't reported that, but I will tell you that the ocean is good, the fish are there, and you're going to mark them. They're stacked. And one quick tip, though, like, you know, a lot of people put out spoons down deep and stuff. Last night when I went out, I was marking these fish solid in 30 feet, even though I was fishing in 50 feet of water. So now, if you have your spoon set to go to the bottom and you're trolling 40 feet, it's not going to work. If you see those fish at 30 feet, man, wind that up. Get those spoons in that 25 to 30 foot area, and you're going to connect with a bass. Other than that, that's it, Tim. I'll talk to you soon, and hope you have a great week.
Chris Ludwig has more fishing news from the west.
Thank you, Tim. What's going on, guys? So this past week, the action's been really good. I'm sure you've all have seen it. There's been big fish coming in everywhere, and that's no different here in the west end of Jones, east end of Atlantic Beach. Been doing very well, and I've actually put my live eels down. This week I've been fishing with my Savage gears, my white Super Strike bottle plugs, and most of all, my favorite, my First Light Sweeper jigs. This one happens to be a 1 ounce snook jig, but it's a modified bucktail. These three guys are matching the hatch of what's going on here. There's been sand eels around, there's been bunker, so I'm kind of just, you know, finding things in the middle and what the fish are responding to. However, on the bigger side of things, guys have been trolling the Mojos, so I got my own big 3 ounce one I could throw from the open beach. There's been a lot of fish in the range of 20 to 40 pounds being caught, and that's no different from the open surf. Get out there, guys, it's really hot. And as far as the freshwater action goes, you know, we've been catching the largemouth bass, but I'll be honest, I haven't been going as much. We probably averaged about 6 or 7 this week. Same old deal, Texas rig Sankos, yum dingers, all that. But for real, guys, get out there, throw these Mojos. If you can get them, the 2-3 ounce ones, throw them on the beach. Coastal Memories Fishing, thank you, Fisherman. Have a good one.
From Sheepshead Bay, let's go to Luke Feeney.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Hey, folks, I haven't really been out much in the last week, but what I have heard is that the schoolie bass bite is still really solid, both inside Jamaica Bay and in Sheepshead Bay. The places where I've been catching them over the last couple of weeks have been by the Roundhouse, by Kingsborough, by Plum Beach, and inside the Marine Park Bridge. You just gotta look for those big patches of birds, get right in with them. To cast anything small, they're feeding on sand eels, so anything you can get in there that looks nice and small, like would represent a sand eel, like we've been using bucktails with otter tails, small diamond jigs with the green tails. It's been a little windy to throw the poppers, so we haven't really been throwing the poppers, but they would work now that the wind has died down, so just give it a try. It's really fun, a lot of fun, you know, it's hours of schoolie bass. You got to go either early in the morning when the sun first comes up, or in the afternoon before it gets dark. It gets dark early now, so you got to be conscious of what time you're going to get out there, how much time you're going to have to fish. The blackfish bite has remained really solid over the last couple of weeks, both on the reef and in some smaller pieces inshore, like pilings, broken down piers, and the Marine Park Bridge have still been excellent. A lot of smaller fish, but a lot of action. The bigger fish have moved to the reef and places offshore too, like 17, the Mud Buoy, the Fisherman Buoy, all those general offshore areas. The blackfish are beginning to move there now. And the big bass have moved off Rockaway. A lot of those fish that were in Fire Island have moved further west and they're off the Rockaways. They're trolling spoons and Mojos for them, and the reports are that they've been getting some really nice fish over the last couple of weeks. And in the last couple of days, they've been having a lot more action than they were. So get out there and give it a try. You got to go deep with those spoons, 50, 60, 65 feet. Don't be afraid to get deep. That's where those bass are, feeding on those bunker and mackerel. And the sand eels will provide a great November from here on in. Everything inshore is feeding on them. Bluefish, bass, you name it. They're all feeding on those sand eels. So look for those big patches of bait on your fish finder. Drop something down because there's a good chance there's some nice fall predators in there. That's it for this week. That's my report. Until the next time, tight lines.
Further west, we have Mike Manguel.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Hey, fishermen. For this week's fishing report, I must say, trolling Tandem, Mojo's white 8-ounce, 6-ounce, producing quality size striped bass, along with white bunker spoons, producing good quality striped bass. Today's Wednesday, been out, pretty tired, as you can tell. It's going to be a short video. Good sized bass out there, guys. Very good sized bass. Slow to moderate trolling speeds. Try different speeds, guys. Let it sink a little bit, and sometimes you have to pick up a little bit. Try different methods, okay? But definitely get out there. White seems to be doing the trick. Here's a couple pictures. Today, give you guys a tip. Fish the Verrazano, troll the Verrazano, Ambrose Channel, Breezy Point. That seems to be producing some good quality fish. And that's all I got to say, guys. Well, happy fishing. Adios.
On the North Shore, let's check in with Peter Tarnowski.
Thanks, Tim. Well, with the clock set back, that's kind of killing off the after-work boating for a lot of us. But that extra hour in the morning is helping me get out there, do a little bit of extra kayak fishing in the local harbors just before work. I've been out quite a few times over the last couple of weeks, and the schoolie bite has been pretty strong in the local harbors, and that's still going. I was out yesterday, and it was still doing very well with nice sized schoolies. But the real bass bite is right now down on the South Shore. A lot of great reports out of Robert Moses and Jones Beach and those areas. I was out by Robert Moses on Sunday, and although we did eat a lot of dogfish, I did manage to land a nice 20-pound bass, which I actually just finished eating, which was quite good. I'll be back out there tomorrow. I'm actually going on a charter tomorrow out of Captree, and hopefully this bass bite continues. I mean, people are limiting out within an hour or two is what they're saying. So I'll see if that's true, and I will report back to you guys next week. Thanks. Back to you, Tim.
From Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle, let's get the latest.
Hey, thanks, Tim. I'm hanging out in my truck right now, warming up. Mornings have been cool and dark, so nothing more to do than just I like to wait until the sun comes up before we get out and start going for some of these blackfish. If you're looking for striped bass as a surf casting report locally, I'd have to say that I'm still picking some up in the docks and in the back of the harbor, but nothing like what we had last week. It seemed like Thursday and Friday was like a really lights out fishing with them inside the harbor, and then they made a shift to the outside. We were blackfishing off the boat. Phenomenal. Everybody I spoke with on Sunday just had lights out fishing. We had a limit of our own fish by 9:30 in the morning. I mean, it was like maybe an hour and change. We had a limit of our tog up to about 6.5 pounds. Lights out fishing, like I said. Green crabs, you can use Asian crabs. I was using green crabs. My fare on the charter boat was using lead sinkers with the drop-a-loop, and I was using the jig, and both of us, you know, it just didn't stop. I lost a really big blackfish, handed it off to my charter so they could get an experience of getting like a double digit, and man, that thing probably took 30 feet of drag. We were able to pull it up, turn around, took 20 feet of drag again, hit itself in a rock, and you know, it's that fish that always got away that you'll think about. It didn't happen, but we're still poking for them. You've got some really big fish up by us, so I would just stick it out. The tides seem to be near the top of the tide and then the outgoing, and then the fish will turn off again for a good hour or so. If you can stick it out, you'll do pretty well. I think that something that is very interesting is that Monday, I don't know if it was the low pressure system that was moving into our region, but Sunday, wow, just probably the best blackfishing that we've had so far. So I think for anglers, a good hint is to keep your eye on the weather patterns. This is probably the third time in a row, and it's a typical pattern that you'll find, whether it's out east, on the south shore, on the north shore. When we get these low pressure systems that begin to move in the first 2 days, and usually the day before the big storm, fishing can really just blow your mind. So don't give those days up. Striped bass, even though they're moving from the inside to the outside of the harbors, I'm not seeing a lot of keepers, but it's just been fantastic fishing. So, you know what? Go out there, have a great time, take advantage. A lot of boats are getting pulled, so there's been less pressure on some of these spots. Anyway, that's it for our report this week. Looking forward to giving you more blackfish pictures next week. So, wish us luck, and back to you, Tim.
Now let's check in with Fred Golofaro with the latest surf action.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Yeah, and the surf fishing's actually been pretty consistent. There are a lot of small fish, a lot less keepers than there were a couple of weeks ago, and less of the bigger fish, but still plenty of action. We've been dealing with a rough surf most days, a big sweep other days, but even under those conditions, guys are catching well. I know Monday in that blow and in the rain, John Paduano and Pete Salento, they figured they had about 100 bass fishing one of the Hampton beaches, bucktails, and had a pretty good sweep that day and a good surf running. So just because it's blowing and there's a decent surf up doesn't mean you should stay home. Give it a shot. There's some things you can do under those conditions. First of all, casting into the direction the sweep is coming from, and allowing your lure, whether it's a diamond jig or a bucktail, those are two of the better choices under those conditions because they'll hold a little better. They won't get swept across as fast as some other lures, and you probably have to step up to probably 3 ounces, something like that. Sometimes even a little heavier. But you cast into the sweep, and a lot of times you don't even have to reel. Just kind of let it swing across till it gets to maybe the 10 o'clock position, and then reel it in. I see a lot of people casting straight out or even angling their cast to the left if the wind is coming from their right to get more distance, and their lure's on the beach in 10 seconds. So you can do that. Also try to get behind some good structure, like a good outer bar that breaks up those incoming waves and knock down 6-footers to 3 or 4 footers. And just a couple of things you can do to make fishing under those conditions a little more productive. There's been quite a few fish up on the North Shore now too. Haven't heard much from the North Fork. That seems to have quieted down. Haven't heard anything the last few days, but from Wading River through to Huntington, I'm getting good reports. Even in the harbors, quite a few small bass in the harbors. And if the wind's blowing hard out of the southerly direction, you can go up there and fish light tackle under calm conditions and have a lot of fun with those small fish. But like I said, the fishing is good. There's a load of fish off the beach on the South Shore, and for whatever reason, well, I can tell you the reason. There's tons of sand eels out in deep water, and I'm hearing reports of clouds of birds working over fish out in 80 feet of water, 90 feet of water. Kind of wish they were a lot closer than that, but who knows? Maybe we'll see another run of better-sized fish before it's over. Right now, most of those bigger fish are offshore. Even on the South Shore, though, drop your tackle down, fish some lighter tackle, and you'll have a lot of fun with those schoolies. Till next week, Fred Golofaro here for thefisherman.com.
Upcoming events. November 17th through the 18th, Steiger Craft will have their open house and factory tour. November 24th is the Lindenhurst Fall Fishing Flea Market. We have some new entries in the Fisherman Dreamboat Contest to win that new Steiger Craft. From Long Island, Mark Warbolowski weighed in this 16-pound bluefish. From New England, Peter Lewis weighed in this 12.55-pound blackfish. From Long Island, Greg Watkins weighed in this 10.81-pound tog. From New England, Steve Clark weighed in this 10.42 pound tog. From the Long Island Fisherman, I'm going to mess this name up, Gregory Puscola Julian. He weighed in this 10.13 pound blackfish. A. Scoville from New England weighed in this 9 pound blackfish. All it takes to be part of the Dreamboat Contest is a subscription to the Fisherman magazine and for you to get out on the water. If you'd like to be part of our weekly video fishing forecasts, we're looking for social media savvy anglers for hyperlocal reporting from around the New York Metro and Long Island area. So if you're a captain, a tackle shop, or just an avid angler, contact me at libayrat@gmail.com. For links and more information, be sure to check out this video's description on YouTube. Remember, like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Dreamboat Contest. Get out there and catch 'em up. This is Tim C. Smith for thefisherman.com.